Hey guys, Garrett McLaughlin here, and thank you for checking out this video in the Hips Don't Lie series. In this segment, I want to look at moving in multiple planes of motion and show you 3 very simple but effective movements that you can add as part of your dynamic warm-up, your cool down, or somewhere within your functional training routine, just to move out of that linear movement pattern. So we think about running specifically, always forward, right? The motion is so monotonous, so repetitive, lots of contacts moving forward, or ground contacts. So what we need to do is actually work on moving in multiple planes of motion just to make sure we're training the body through its full range of motion in different ways, especially when it comes to the hips. Okay, if we're always going into flexion, extension, what happens to these other motions? What happens to abduction? What happens to internal, external rotation? We tend to lose some of those ranges, so this is a good way to help preserve optimal hip range of motion and also put some good strength and stability around it. So the first one I want to show you is called the lateral squat. If we go in this nice long stance, almost even longer than you would normally set yourself up and feel comfortable. Try to really stretch out here. I want to first squat to my right side, so I'm going to bring my right foot forward there slightly so my heel and my toe are on the same line. Okay? So then from there, I'm going to sit my butt back. I'm going to lower into the hip. And obviously, we're hip focused here. So butt back, lower down. I'm going to drive from the outside of the hips. So this is where I can develop good lateral hip strength. But also a good thing about this one is getting good flexibility through the adductors. Muscles inside the thigh that attach pelvis to the femur. Here they're lengthening. You can see as I go out wide in that position. So I want to work on that 6, 8, 10 repetitions side to side as one side's tighter, more restricted than the other. Add a couple repetitions on that tighter side. But that's the first way to help us work in this frontal plane, more side to side or lateral based movements. Next one I want to show you is called the transverse lunge. At first glance, and first time trying this one actually is pretty tricky. Not that it's hard, but just getting set up in the position properly can be challenging at first. So if I want to show you from this view, just so you can see where that back foot is going to go. Again, transverse means more of a rotational motion. So if I think of what's happening at the hips are rotating, opening up this way. I'm going to step out to the side. As that happens, because I'm doing a lunge, all the same things happen. My lunging leg is going to bend, so that's this leg back here, as this front leg straightens. But you notice that foot never comes off the ground and it never turns. Okay, this is one thing you'll notice if you have any tightness through here. This foot's going to want to, I see a lot of people all the time, that foot rotates with them. Try to really keep this foot planted at all times so you don't lose that position. Step out to the side. Again, I'm not going straight backwards. You can see I'm going back into the side slightly, about 12, 18 inches or so. And then I'm going to bend, lower, square my shoulders. I'm trying to lunge my whole body, shoulders, hips, knee, everything where that foot is going. And then I'm going to lunge over that leg and then push off to come back. One thing you'll notice, if you step too far, you're unable to turn your body back off that rotation of the leg. Okay? We don't need to go super far. You need to find what works for you. So for some people, that might be something like this, while other people can turn a lot more and get their body to rotate because they have better range of motion. So obviously, I want to do that on both sides. I want to find and really turn, square up my shoulders with that position. My knee is always aligning with that second toe. I'm maintaining the position of the front leg as my knee straightens out. And I can, same thing, work through 6, 8, 10 repetitions side to side. But that is the transverse lunge, moving in more of a rotational plane of motion. Okay, next one we have the cross behind lunge. Great exercise that works on actually good flexibility and control through these lateral hip muscles. Think of every step you take and you land as you run. These muscles have to contract to stabilize the pelvis and the hip. So with the cross behind lunge, if I just stay upright, again, nothing fancy about the setup, feet together, I'm going to bring my leg around. So do get a lot of balance and control through that leg, depending on how slow you're doing it. I still, just like when I did the lateral squat, I want to find that line, heel and toe, to be on the same line. So I don't want to step up so far with that foot to the side. I want to bring that toe so it's on the same line as the heel as I wrap around. So I'm going to step behind. I'm going to tap the outside of the foot, baby toe, maybe 3rd, 4th, 5th toe into the ground. And then from there, I'm just going to control and lower myself. But I want to try to keep myself squared up facing forward here. I don't want to. You see a lot of people will start to shift out of it. When that happens, the pelvis does not get into that position where we get good lengthening through the hip muscles. So try to keep your body facing forward. squared up, lower down, and then come back up. Again, this is something that we can do. You can alternate. You can do one set at a time, 6, 8, 10 per side, controlling, and doing that on both sides. But a little bit more of a rotational demand on the hips. Rather than coming up and opening, we're bringing the leg around and behind the body. So we get slightly more anterior on the muscles we're lengthening, a little more hip flexor, TFL, anterior glute med, quad even. Okay, so it's a little different focus in that transverse lunge. But those are 3 different drills to help you move in multiple planes of motions. What I really recommend when you start off incorporating those, add those as part of your dynamic warm-up. Don't focus on doing a lot of them. Just do 6 repetitions on each side of those movements. That'll be very simple to get you started. Lateral squat, transverse lunge, and cross behind lunge. I think what you'll notice is really gaining better flexibility and control around the hips. It's actually good strength and control and stability as well. So we really work on a multitude of things when you work on moving in multiple planes of motions that will help you break you out of that just straight linear movement pattern. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Hope this video provided you value in some way, and I hope you have a great day.